Check 1, 2. Deep Ellum on air.
Right, you're on mute.
Deep Ellum on air.
It's time to really get our party on now.
It's TLR, the Texas Legalization Report for Monday. What is today's date? March the 18th, 2013, the day after St. Patrick's Day. I am Pugs Moran, along with V, host of the Sunday morning podcast, Hungover with V. Also, Chief Chaz joins us, former Texas law enforcement official, now turned legalization advocate. And we are all gathered here in the lovely studios of Deep Ellum on air, helmed as always by the one, the only Jedi Jansen. Hi, everybody. How are you?
Hey.
Hello.
Yeah. Say hi, everyone. Where's the enthusiasm?
Yeah. Welcome.
First of all, we're going to cover a lot of things today. V, you were down at South by Southwest.
Yes, I was.
You attended the High Times party.
I sure did. It was a lot of fun. Highlight, definitely.
Hold on, no.
All right.
You met somebody, and we'll tease that. Who did V hang out with yesterday at South by Southwest?
This is great.
Chief Chaz, how are you today?
Great.
Were you down there hanging out with V at South by Southwest?
Wasn't able to make it.
Nah, me neither. Didn't even know it was an option.
Sorry about that.
Didn't even know. Also on today's Texas Legalization Report, we're gonna talk about something that's been floating around for a while now. It just resurfaced as a major issue here in the state of Texas about 2 weeks ago. Haven't been able to get to it, and you'd think that with the goal of this show being the eventual legalization of marijuana, we would have been on top of this, but we're talking about House Bill 594, which would essentially decriminalize marijuana in the state of Texas. Been around for a while, but it's being championed once again by, I predict, a future guest of the Texas Legalization Report, State Rep. Elliot Nastath. I don't know if I'm saying that name correctly.
Sounds right to me.
Nastath?
Yeah.
Something like
Nastath.
that? All right, we'll get into that, and we've also got a guest. We've got a guest named Peter O'Toole.
We got two guests.
Oh, we got two guests?
Yeah.
Oh, very good. What?
We got Peter O'Toole with
Okay.
Cannabis Camp.
He runs a thing called Cannabis Camp.
I like the sound of that already.
Sounds good to me.
Sign me up.
Sounds better than
And then we got a fellow activist, Don. I don't know if he wants to give his full name, so we'll just call him Don.
All right, he's a little ninja in the good fight.
He is
what we'll call him.
absolutely.
All right, so we'll talk to him as well. He's based out on the East Coast. He's going to give us a rundown of legalization issues and all of that. There was a story coming out of New Hampshire last week that we'll touch on, I'm sure, with him. That was a bit disheartening, but we'll get into all that and a whole bunch more on today's edition of the Texas Legalization Report. I apologize if I seem a bit rushed. I did not, kids, get to study as much as maybe I would for a normal prep show, because I don't know if you guys all know this or not, but today, high drama in L.A. You want to know what a loser I am? I have spent the last 2 hours before having to leave and come here staring at my screen, my computer screen, watching a static camera on TMZ's website streaming live the front of Lindsay Lohan's court appearance.
Oh
my
I didn't
God.
even know that was...
Oh!
What?
What?
Yeah,
What?
I had no idea. What's going on
Dude,
here?
seriously?
Seriously.
Do you not
I'm on the
know?
loop on this
This
one.
has been unbelievably high drama. And it does kind of tie into what we're saying because she's facing jail time.
No.
And I got into a bit of an argument on Facebook earlier today about Lindsay Lohan does not deserve to be locked up with someone who's just knifed her boyfriend.
No, yeah.
Okay? She's an F-up. That's what she is. I don't know that she's necessarily a felon or someone that is necessarily more dangerous to society than the average car thief.
She's me with money.
Yes!
Yeah.
She's
I mean,
a fuck up
yeah,
is what she
come on.
does. Excuse my language, but that is what she is. So got into a bit of a debate earlier on Facebook today about whether or not she deserves hardcore jail time. But just check out what this mess, and that's as delicately as I can put it. This girl is a mess. All right. Here, let me pull up my Facebook page because I outlined. We're going to play a little game here, okay? You guys ready to play a game?
Yay, I love games.
This will be fun. All right, the game is called What is Lindsay Lohan on trial for today? Because she's going to go to trial. This is the whole thing. What is the charge that she is facing? Now, I'm going to give you a list, okay, of Lindsay Lohan indiscretions. Let's figure out what she's actually dealing with today, okay? Let's see here. Recently, she got into a nightclub fight a couple of months ago. I don't know if you remember that one.
I feel it. Yeah, that's true. So all these are true.
These are all
just
true things.
what she's going to be tried on.
What is today's court appearance in reference to?
All right.
Is it the nightclub fight from a month or so ago?
Okay.
The car accident from November out in front of the very same nightclub that she got into the fight with.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Remember this? She ran over a guy.
I feel like twice. No, was it not twice? Somebody else ran over somebody twice.
No, she was pulling out of the parking garage, the valet parking, and some guy cut in front of her, and she.
That's right. I
She
remember
says
that.
she didn't hit him. He says
All on camera.
Either way, nobody's hurt, but she was pulled in for leaving the scene of an accident. This is just in the last 3 months. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now let's keep going. Let's see. The car accident from last summer in June, when she slammed her Porsche into the back of a truck and then told highway police that she wasn't driving.
That's right. Gave it to somebody else.
Later revealed that she was driving.
Okay.
So she's lying to police,
all right.
which is a violation of probation. Probation 4, a charge we've yet to get to.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Is she appearing in court today, Lindsay Lohan, on the stealing jewelry charge? Remember, she was
That's right.
She put on probation for stealing jewelry. She walked out of a fancy boutique.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was like what, $50,000 worth of jewelry, or was it more than that?
It was.
I mean, it was
well,
quite a bit.
But it was like one piece of jewelry.
Right,
that
one
was
piece
$50,000.
that she was wearing. You
Personally,
know?
I believe her. I don't think that she walked in and stole. She walked out wearing it.
She was wearing it.
I think she put it on. She was probably stoned or something. She wasn't thinking. Hey, you want to see what? Here.
No, that's true. You should see how many lighters I have in my pocket.
Right.
I haven't even bought a lighter in
Let me
like
show
10
you guys
years.
something, okay? Let me show you guys something about what just not thinking, okay?
Right, what happens?
I quickly, remember I told you I was transfixed by the Lindsay Lohan trial, so I wasn't really prepping for this show. So I packed up in a hurry. This just shows you how people just sometimes have mind farts.
Right.
Look at what I put in my bag, and I noticed this while unpacking.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
All right, let's see here. Yeah, it's a puppy. My remote.
The remote.
The remote
Yeah.
to my TV at home. I have no
God.
idea why I picked it up and put it in my bag, but I wasn't thinking. And, if this was a $50,000 piece of jewelry from a boutique I shop at all the time, by the way, she was a regular customer at that boutique. You can see how I just mind farted. I forgot.
Yeah. She thought I'm coming back.
I
Like,
tried
I'll bring
it on.
it back.
I was
Like, no big-
gabbing.
Yeah,
I
blah,
walked
blah, blah.
out. I forgot I was wearing it. All right. So is it that one? Is it her Santa Monica DUI from 2 years ago, or the Beverly Hills DUI from 2.5 years ago? Wow. Is it her arrest for driving while suspended, which happened 3 years ago, or her violation of probation for missing mandatory alcohol counseling, which also happened 3 years ago? Cocaine possession, which happened 2 years ago, or the arrest for failing another drug test, which was just a couple of months ago. Now, what is Lindsay Lohan appearing in court today for?
You
Okay.
want the answer?
Yeah.
Probably probation revocation.
Probation. Got to be a probation
Probation?
Probably a
Maybe.
revocation hearing.
violation.
You know, Chief Chaz, being a former cop, you know the jargon better than I do. So maybe that's it. But I'll save us all a bunch of struggle.
Yeah.
This is about the lying to police when she got into the car accident. And that was a violation of her probation because that was illegal to lie to police. So that's what she's doing in court today to answer charges of. Now, that's not even the drama that had everybody transfixed on TMZ today. All right, so Lindsay is notorious for not showing up for court. Yes? We all know about this. She's missed, she's always late, whatever. All right, so the judge has said, be here or go to jail. That's it. If you're not here on Monday, March 18th at 8:30 a.m., you're going to jail. I'm tired of playing around with you. Lindsay lives in New York, so she has to fly back to L.A. So she was booked on a flight Saturday night to get her back in L.A. safely by early Sunday morning, which would have been fine. She'd make court on Monday, no problems. We know where Lindsay is.
Day early.
Exactly. Well, she bailed on that one on Saturday. She decided she wasn't going to take that flight.
What an idiot.
So then she decided that she would take a flight Sunday night.
Right,
What's
yeah.
the difference? She'll
No
still
big
get home or late Sunday. Excuse me. She was supposed to arrive in L.A. at 11:15 last night. Still plenty of time. So Lindsay got on that plane, and just before it was supposed to take off, she freaked out and demanded to be let off the plane. And she got off the plane. So close.
She was right there.
She was right there.
No.
Could you imagine being her publicist or being her handler?
It makes me think of that movie, Get Him to the Greek.
Oh,
or,
Yes,
like
yes,
that's
it's a-
her. Like, could you
I hope he gets paid
imagine?
well.
V, that's exactly. It's like Get Him to the Greek. That movie.
No way.
You can't get her to the court. That's the whole point of it. All right. So she gets off the flight last night, right? And now she's screwed. There are no more commercial flights that will get her. There isn't a late night. There's not going to get her in time, right?
Yeah.
So she starts tweeting up a storm last night about needing to borrow a private jet. So some
I love her.
So I know. How
her.
can you not
You
love
know
this
what?
hot mess?
Done.
This
Yeah.
is just so pimp. So she starts tweeting that she needs a private jet or else she's going to jail. And the owner of Mr. Pink energy drink, which I've never heard of, but apparently it's a big enough energy drink that the guy owns a Mr. Pink private jet, flew her early in the morning, like 3 o'clock in the morning last night, to LA at a cost of $50,000. Wow. I bet you Lindsay Lohan will be doing some ads for Mr. Pink
For
energy
sure.
drink.
You know, and that's why she didn't go to court, because she's entitled, because she could just do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hold on, we ain't done.
This chick's had more breaks than a broken box of crackers. She needs to go to jail, if you ask me.
So Mr. Pink flies her in his private jet. Now, the private jet was delayed for some reason leaving New York. So by like 5 hours, it sat on the runway. Apparently, I don't know, you got to get clearances and stuff,
Yeah,
and it wasn't
for
scheduled to
Lindsay.
flight. So yeah, there were all these
She was paying for the flight.
basically whatever it was. But
Yeah.
you know, I guess from a place like JFK,
Drug dogs.
you don't get to just go, hey, let's get in our plane and take off.
Right.
You have to file a manifest. You know, it has to, so you have to wait your turn and all that. A private section.
Yeah,
of
one
JFK.
would hope you can't
Right.
just pull up with a private plane.
But it took forever. It took like 5 hours. So now she's got to make it. All right. As of the time that I woke up this morning, okay, 8:30. I pop up TMZ. It's one of the first news sites that I check because it's especially on a Monday after St. Patrick's Day.
There's some stuff going down.
Going to be some celebrity hijinks being reported. You got to hope. So the plane was delayed, and then it started this live countdown till when Lindsay's late for court. And I tuned in at about 30 minutes, right? And then they're putting these updates. Lindsay has notified the court that her estimated time of arrival is 8:31, 1 minute late for court. That's what she's going to be 1 minute late. But the problem was the plane was supposed to land at Van Nuys Airport, the private airport location there in LA. But that would have left her 20 miles away from the courthouse at 8:30 in the morning in Los Angeles rush hour
Super
traffic.
late, an
She
hour and
was
a half late.
Never going to make it.
No.
20 miles in rush hour in LA is a 90-minute proposition. It's not going to happen. So they actually had the plane diverted for her. Yes, people keep bending over backwards.
I was hoping for a helicopter. I was like, where's the helicopter?
Right?
Where's the
That's what I was
helicopter?
wondering. The helicopter ride's coming next.
So they had the flight diverted from Van Nuys to LAX, which is only 5 miles from the courthouse.
Wow.
Which would get her. All right, so everyone's bent over backwards. This still has her arriving at 8:31, just 1 minute late. That's all right. You know, courts are never ready to go right when you walk in. Chaz, you as a cop, you probably know that. Everybody sits around and waits.
Oh, yeah.
She was still almost an hour late.
How?
She
How?
was 48 minutes late for court. And boy, when she finally got there and that static camera on TMZ, it had paid off. I'd waited like 2 hours to see this. She comes bouncing out of the car.
Yeah.
And somebody, which was awesomely bad for her, I think, but funny to see. Yeah. As soon as she got out of the car, she comes rushing up, and all these cameras are popping and flashing. Somebody took a handful of glitter dust and just whipped it at her. So now she's got to stand in front of the judge covered in glitter like a party girl. You know? It's not
Oh,
good. It's
you
not
know
good.
what? Yeah, well,
So any thoughts on that, Chaz and V?
Jeez, I'll tell you, I don't know how the the judges in California are, but my God. Half of this stuff in Texas has to be in the penitentiary.
get a rope. Yeah, I hear she'd be hung for half of that
Jesus,
shit.
I
Like,
don't
that
know
does
how
not
she
go
would-
down.
Yeah.
But why? What has she done? This
But
is
here's
what's
the
so
thing,
interesting
yeah.
about this.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, you know.
She's disrespected the court. and
That's
she
pretty much
she
it.
certainly needs.
Exactly.
She needs to be taught respect. But does that mean she needs to bunk up with a knifer?
No,
with a
no.
gang member.
I mean, even if they were to give her community service, it's not gonna. She's not gonna show up. It's gonna be another.
Being a celebrity of her status, she wouldn't be bunked with a knifer. She would be in seclusion.
Right.
Well, I'm just surprised that, there wasn't a part of the story where Obama jumps in and pardons her,
yeah,
Yeah,
she
no
doesn't
shit,
need a
right?
pardon.
yeah.
Where is that? Yeah.
Sure. Okay, breaking news as of 11:04 or 20 or so minutes ago. 11:04, 12, and 1:04. So, yeah.
You know, whatever time it is.
About a half hour ago. It appears Lindsay has struck a plea deal with prosecutors. And that is shocking because
Right.
the whole point of her hustling to get here is because she refused to accept the plea deal. She wanted to go to trial. So that's why they set the court thing. So now
For being
she's
late again, she better.
I
take
bet
a
you that's
plea.
it. I bet you that's what happened. I bet she showed up an hour late and the prosecutors were like,
Plea or jail. Yeah,
you are going to jail
For
now.
jail.
You are 48. You want to take this? We'll give you one last chance to take this plea, and she crumbled.
I'm surprised they still offer.
And so
her a
what?
plea.
Yeah, what
I am
is
too.
the plea? Do we know? I mean, jail time, probation, same
Probably
stuff she's
house
been doing.
arrest
Probably
and
house arrest, all that
fine.
good stuff.
Here's a funny update at 9:50 LA time. How many sheriff's deputies does it take for Lindsay Lohan to go pee? 6. At least that's how many just escorted her to the bathroom. This is the kind of updates I've been getting all morning.
I don't know, man. I hope if I ever have an experience like that, somebody's tweeting all of it for me. And Veronica is now being escorted to the toilet.
Look, here's what I'm saying.
Won't happen.
If we're going to remain intellectually consistent on this, and it's a very intellectually challenging proposition that we make here with Texas legalization report. We are trying to look at legalization of marijuana in a more intellectual and socially progressive way than simply a bunch of burners sitting around getting high.
Right.
If we're going to stay consistent to that, then we have to remain consistent in our belief, and I think we all share this belief, that too many people are being thrown in jails.
Absolutely. No,
Exactly.
even probation.
Then I cannot, in this case, say that Lindsay Lohan deserves jail
Yeah.
time. I have to be consistent across the board.
Yeah.
Unless she's going to knife somebody or look, the DUI offenses, those are serious, but that is not what she's in danger of going to jail about. So she skated on that. That's over. That's in the past. Yeah. This is about violation of probation and
which are things for normal people who don't have income like Lindsay.
Yes.
This is happening to people all over the world all
Yep.
the time. It's constantly happening. So they've got probation, they've got court appearances, all these things that are costing them money, and they serve jail time.
any of us without the help of the kind of
Would be in
lawyers
jail.
that she has would be in jail.
Yeah.
But and this
Doesn't
is,
mean it's right.
it's another thing I got into with somebody on Facebook. They were like, "Oh, see, this is what happens when you're a celebrity." I go, "This ain't about celebrity. This is about money."
Well, actually,
There
the
were-
celebrity status does help because it affords an
Not in
opportunity.
LA, man. It has been
affords an
proven that it doesn't
opportunity-
help.
Well,
Well,
it
it's
affords
the
an
money.
opportunity for community service. They can provide a much larger community service with their status.
That's a good point.
So, yeah.
But surprisingly, in LA, being a celebrity does not help. It hurts because there's an endless line of DAs in LA County looking to make their careers by
Setting an example.
by putting a celebrity in
Look at
jail.
The guy, the Terminator kid that was on the Terminator, he's in jail now. He got violated. He's serving
Oh yeah, who that? Eddie
2-year sentence.
Furlong.
Yeah.
Is that him?
Yeah.
Edward Furlong. Yeah. Well,
drugs.
too
For
many-
drugs.
Yeah, for drugs.
For drugs. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a crazy
he
thing.
violated his original probation violation was on the domestic violence charge.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Maybe
different.
not.
You beat up your wife, your girlfriend, whatever. You deserve
little
to go.
different.
You deserve to go cool down, and maybe you should be bunking with a gang member for a couple
Yeah.
of months. But I don't know. I just don't think Lindsay Lohan is any danger to any of us. She's a fuck up. That's what
Yeah.
she is. And I don't know. It's just,
Under a microscopic light, she's a fuck up, and everybody's watching.
but rehab doesn't work for her. So what are we gonna send her to rehab for the 11th time?
Didn't she leave rehab
Oh yeah,
early?
a couple times.
Yeah, a couple times.
Couple
yeah.
times. So she goes to rehab the way most girls her age would go
Yeah.
on spring break
Right, yeah.
or whatever. That's like her. So rehab doesn't work. So what do we do? Make her pick up garbage for a year.
Well, I think you take away all those plush amenities and put her behind bars for a year. And then maybe
I
she'll
just
learn a
couldn't do
lesson.
that.
See, but there we go. Putting behind it, that's punitive. And not only punitive, and she deserves some kind of punishment, but is that an overreach of punishment? Does she deserve to be behind bars? Or are you just angry that she's a celebrity?
No. It's for as many times as she's disrespected the court, and as many breaks as she's been given, and as many times as she's violated those breaks, she's been given buku chances. And it's just, anybody else with the amount of charges on her, and anybody else with the amount of screw ups, if they were on a 5-year probated sentence with that amount of screw ups, they'd be sitting in jail for 5 years.
But you just stated that by that statement, you are saying that she's receiving special treatment. And I'm telling you, she is not receiving any special treatment that any other rich person wouldn't receive.
She's got the money for the rock and roll lawyers,
but there's nothing illegal about that. That's the system.
Still doesn't mean she belongs.
Well, I don't think that some no-name millionaire is going to have an energy drink going, yeah, hell yeah, we'll get you a private jet.
Well, no, but that's sort of a side effect of this. You know what? The unnamed millionaire might own the energy drink company. You know, it
Yeah.
might be his kid
Yeah.
who got fucked up at college and, you know, is now
That's
in
true.
trouble and they're trying to hush it all up. I mean, this happens all the time. I mean,
some
rich
form-
kids skate
I see
all
what,
the time.
Yeah, what you're saying though is, does the crime fit the punishment? Regardless,
Right.
if it's Lindsay or anybody else, does the crime? Does she deserve jail time for the things that she's being charged with? Does she deserve to go to jail with
Right.
a
Do
criminal,
do we
a
need
real
to be
criminal?
paying her food and her housing and occupying a jail cell that could otherwise be occupied by a danger to society? I say put her in an orange jumpsuit, make her report every morning at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
and make her clean the highways for a year. And if she misses a day, she goes to jail. I mean, you got to keep.
But then all the but then,
I know,
but
and
then
she
she
goes-
does.
I know.
She does miss that
It's
day.
so frustrating with her. What do you do though? I mean.
Buy her a drink.
At some point, is it just a battle of ego where we're upset that how dare she do this to our system? I mean, at some point, does it get to that point? Or do we just go...
It's like she has no respect for the system.
But
She
there's a
thinks
lot
she's
of
above
that.
it.
There's a lot of that though. A lot of people do get upset when people get away with it,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Oh, that's not fair." She's, but then when it comes
Right,
to
but
you,
that's
I want to
venal.
get away with it.
That's you're not
I want
intellectualizing
to.
that. You're just,
Yeah.
you're
I
jealous.
want to get away with it.
So screw her.
Yeah, that's
because
not
I don't
fair.
think I can get away with it. So I'm going to now get angry and lash out at her. I don't know. I just think I don't know. It's not consistent with my views on the prison
Right.
system in America. And it's just not consistent with the way I think we need to deal with people who are fuck ups.
No, that's true. I mean, rehab. You have to teach them. You have to give them some sort of tools or help. But you can't do that
But
by
I don't
just
think
throwing
rehab
the book
works.
at them. Yeah, no. I mean, not even rehab. I'm community, whatever, showing them how to utilize that towards the
Maybe
community.
she
I don't know.
went-
Put it
maybe
back.
She went to a real rehab and not a vacation rehab.
Well, that's
Chaz,
true.
let me ask you, what are your thoughts on rehab? I have some very provocative thoughts on rehab. I've never been, never even been suggested that I need to go.
Let me tell you.
But I do know people who have been, and let me just first say it with this. If you are a 15-year-old kid in high school and you get caught with a joint in your book bag, you do not need rehab.
No, you
Which
don't.
happened to
But
me.
that's mandated in
That
this
happened to
country.
me.
It's big. We've heard of big oil. We've heard of big tobacco. It's big rehab. It is a business that is tied in with the courts that send people to these places who don't need to go there. Now, Chaz, I'm sorry, you had some thoughts.
Marijuana, negative. Now, I'll tell you something that I haven't ever released, I haven't ever spoke of, but it's coming out in my book. I went to rehab. From the time I was 15 to the time I was 17, I had a really bad meth problem. I grew up in a meth house.
Well, that's something you need to go to rehab for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did, and luckily I had people that cared about me and did an intervention and got me into a rehab and got me steered back in the right path. And a good rehab, a real rehab, does work. Because I'll tell you what, it certainly straightened me out. And from the day I stepped out of those doors, I never even looked back at.
See, but that was you. You went in and you knew you had to change. You knew that something had to be different or your life was over.
Yeah.
You had that self-realization.
And
Not everyone has
and
that.
that's another thing I tell people. Rehab is great. Rehab works. But I don't care who you are or who goes to rehab. If you don't want to change and if you don't have it inside you to change and get out of that lifestyle or get over that problem, no amount of rehab is going to work.
Which is why court-ordered rehab is that's what I have an issue with. I believe in
Yes.
rehab, too. I've seen people go through it. I understand that. And, yes, you have to want it.
Yeah, you
But
have
if
to make
you're
that
being
choice yourself.
court-appointed rehab time and time again, you go serve, it's not going to work.
There are chronic abusers who have real problems, who have figured out that rehab is simply the slap on the wrist, the interruption in your endless party that you will just have to put up with for a few months before you go back to hanging with the same people and doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that is really what big rehab has become in America.
No, yeah.
And it's all because of these zero tolerance laws and mandating, that the court systems have the right to send people to rehab. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's like you say, if they send, I've got teenage boys, if one of them gets caught smoking a joint and the next, he's in rehab with kids that are doing meth or, and they're,
Yeah, he
here you
learns
go.
about it.
He learns about it. He's learning
Yeah.
something completely different.
I think it's completely insane and ridiculous to send somebody to rehab over marijuana.
Yeah, but
Oh,
that
yeah,
happens.
but it's
insane.
and it's still a huge industry, huge. Jansen, you have a personal story or some thoughts on this?
I mean, that happened to me. I had to go to a rehab. Basically, I went and lived in a boys' home for 8 months.
Wow.
And every single day, we had to go to AA and NA. They would take us to these adult AAs and NAs
and
every
what
single
did you
day.
do that landed you there?
Possession of marijuana charge.
Wow.
Simple possession. I had a joint.
You had a joint on you when you were a teenager,
Yeah.
and now suddenly you need serious help.
Rehab. Wow. And how did you feel? I mean, what did it do?
It was
for you?
awful. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, they took me out of my home.
Yeah.
I was a kid having to go live with
Strangers.
real like criminals. I left there actually wanting to do more drugs than I did when I went because I heard about all these cool drugs.
Yeah.
You know what these are? These mechanisms that have been put in place that sort of streamline people from getting busted with a joint to spending a month in rehab. These things are created by stupid people for stupid people to legislate. What does zero tolerance do? Well, it takes away the thought from everything. You do not have to think about this case because it's zero tolerance, and zero tolerance means zero, so you go. The same thing with the mandatory sentencing as a plea for kids who get caught with this kind of thing. They're not going to get better. They're not addicts. We don't know that they're addicts. How can you possibly know that they're addict from one instance? Yet you're going to send them to a program that is designed to cure addiction. It's
guilty. You're guilty.
Exactly.
Regardless.
But nobody is thinking about it because
Yeah.
the judges don't want to sit and talk to every 15-year-old kid that comes before them. No, it's just
treat them all the same.
bang the gavel and send them away. And we'll see him again in 6 months or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they threw the book at me, which is why I bring it back to Lindsay Lohan. How come she gets to skate away and then I'm getting the book thrown at me?
Did you have a big $500 an hour lawyer?
Of course not.
Well, if you did, you
Should've
would have
got one of those.
Yeah, if you had one of them,
That ain't right.
No.
That's not right.
What do you mean it's not right? That's America. Don't you love America? What's wrong with the American judicial system? How can you say
The American
terrorists?
judicial system sucks.
we have the perfect thing of everything? We're America. We're number one in everything.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Number one and supersize it.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. It's the Texas Legalization Report. V from Hungover with V right here on Deep Ellum on Air. Chief Chaz, former Texas law enforcement sheriff and noted local legalization activist.
Not sheriff, police.
Police. Jedi Jansen and myself, Pugs Moran. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with, we'll talk Peter I need to calm down. I had too much coffee this morning. Peter O'Toole.
I like your shirt, by the way. I'm digging that.
Oh, thank you. Yes. All right, coming up next, second segment of Texas Legalization Report, we'll talk with Peter O'Toole. Runs a little thing called Cannabis Camp. Intrigued?
Yeah.
I am. DeepEllumOnAir.com.
I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been something you said. I just died in your arms tonight. I keep looking for something I can't get. Broken hearts lie all around me, and I don't see an easy way to get out of this. Her diary sits on the bedside table. The curtains are closed. The cat's in the cradle. Who would have thought that a boy like me could come to this? Oh, whoa. I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been something you said. I just died in your arms tonight. Oh, whoa. I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been some kind of kiss. I should have walked away. I should have walked away. Is there any just cause for feeling like this? On the surface I'm a name on the list. I tried to be discreet, but then blow it again. Lord, lost and found, it's my final mistake. She's loving my proxy, no give it or take. Cause I've been through too bad to say one too many times. Oh, whoa, I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been something you said. I just died in your arms tonight. Oh, whoa, I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been some kind
local, in your neighborhood.
I want to try something radical.
This is Deep Ellum On Air, serving the DFW Metroplex. Live, deepelumonair.com.
It's TLR, the Texas Legalization Report, live from the studios of Deep Ellum On Air. I am Pugs Moran, joined by V.
Hello.
And Chief Chaz.
Hello.
And Jedi Jansen.
Hello, greetings.
And all of us here who gather in earnest as often as possible to discuss the plight of the Texas legalization movement.
Yes.
Little thing I wanted to touch on today. Now, V, I know you know a little bit about this, and you were down in this guy's stomping grounds. State Rep Elliot Naistat. God, I hope I'm saying that right.
I think you are. I've heard it a couple times.
I'm really taking a gamble on this guy's name. It's spelled Naishat. Naistat. Naistat. I'm going with Naistat.
I feel like that's how I've heard it.
Well, he's really pushing this Texas House Bill 594, which you know a little something about, right? You said that it's been around for a while, and it has.
Yeah, this bill has actually been reintroduced. I think we said maybe 12 times in the car. It's been going on since about 2003, 04. It's the same bill. It's the decriminalization of marijuana bill, and they've been trying to push it through, and now they're feeling that now is probably the better time than ever to go ahead and get that bill passed finally.
Yeah, let's make a note of this guy's name, Jansen. We should try and get this guy on. House representative here in the state of Texas. Excuse me. Regarding Bill 594. Quickly, I'll just read a little bit of the story. A veteran lawmaker hopes actions taken by state legislature in Washington and Colorado will pave the way for Texas policymakers to consider a bill that hasn't been heard in committee in nearly a decade.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been around for a while. But because of the recent groundswell of positive movement for the cause of legalization.
It has.
Yeah, sure. There are a lot of these bills in a lot of these states around the country that have had them, and they've been dormant. They haven't been voted on. They've just been sitting there. They've lacked any real representation or any real sponsorship. And, now people feel that now's the time. Give it another whirl. Why not?
Yeah, and a lot of people are standing up and sort of rallying together, and a lot of groups are getting together. Just kind of like what we're doing here, regurgitating the info. And
this bill, though, is not much of a bill, V. I don't know how familiar. I mean, it's not. It's a baby step.
It is.
And I don't know. I'm of the belief that because of what happened in Oregon and Colorado, we don't have to do baby steps anymore.
Right.
There's precedent. There is electoral precedent for this cause.
Right.
But what can you do? It was authored 10 years ago. Maybe they need to author and sponsor a new bill. But here's what this one does. House Bill 594 would provide an affirmative defense for patients who use marijuana based on the recommendation of their doctors. Essentially, what this law will say is, if you are busted for possession, or if you are busted for I guess it would just be possession, possession of marijuana, but you have a disease, and they want to be specific. It has to be a certified disease. You have to, and a doctor who is willing to say, yeah, I suggested that she take this course to relieve pain and for other symptoms, which there are plenty of doctors willing to do. Willing to say this.
There are, surprisingly, a lot more.
Yeah.
There really are.
If you can do that, then they say that this law will make it so the judges have to say, okay, case dismissed. Because if a doctor will come to your defense and say, it's cool for them to smoke weed, you pretty much can smoke weed in the state of Texas. Doesn't that, Chaz, and I'll ask you, doesn't that seem like an archaic law based on how far we've come since the time this law was probably authored? Don't you think we're further progressed than that? Like, that law should be a no-brainer to get passed.
Yeah, and for 20 years, doctors in Texas have been prescribing Marinol anyway, which is a man-made version of THC. So, you've got doctors that are already out there prescribing the pharmaceutical version of it that are going to agree to the natural use of it. And again, this is Texas. It's a baby step, but I think it's a great thing. Hopefully it pushes through.
It goes on to say that the bill would not allow a doctor to prescribe the illegal drug, can't prescribe it, but there would be no penalty levied against a physician who discusses it or recommends it. Okay. Oh, really? So there's no penalty? We're dialing back the thought police? I didn't think we had thought police. How could there possibly be a penalty for a physician who discusses something with a patient?
Well, I mean, it's actually...
Yeah, this bill is going to make sure there is no penalty. My argument is, why would there even be a penalty?
Well, some doctors aren't allowed to say that. They're not allowed to tell you or recommend. They can say, sure, you want to go on to, holistic, healing.
Yeah.
And they're not allowed to tell, go ahead.
It all
It's ridiculous.
falls
Yeah,
down
it's
back to the reefer madness deal. People out there still believe you can overdose on it. People still think that, it can kill you, whatever.
Yeah, people really don't, though. People
a lot of
really
people
don't.
do. A lot of people really do, yeah. And what that falls back on is a liability, whereas a doctor says, hey, yeah, right now, he says, hey, smoking marijuana will help, your disease or your problem. They're still in the mindset that it would create a liability if a doctor were to say that. Mm-hmm. Whereas this bill, if that passes, a doctor can freely say, yeah, I suggest it and I think it'll help, and it removes any liability. It removes any liability from them.
Yeah, which I have a friend who's a local doctor, a pretty well-known local doctor, and he has said for a long time about the prospect of having to prescribe medical marijuana if it became something. He said, or he feels, and I don't want to say his name because I may butcher the quote and I wouldn't want to put it on him, but he feels it's a violation of his Hippocratic oath as a doctor to not prescribe something that he genuinely believes would alleviate pain in his patients. Wow. He thinks that to do otherwise, to not prescribe marijuana, would be a violation of his oath as a doctor.
And that's really nice to hear from a doctor saying
he's
that.
not alone.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of them aren't.
Doctors tell me the same thing.
Well, yeah. I've told this story many times. A friend of mine who's a brain surgeon in Chicago. When I was, I have some depression and some slight bipolar issues, or at least I did when I was much younger. Mm-hmm. It's going back 20 years. And he's now one of the best brain surgeons in the Midwest. This is 20 years ago when we were delivering pizzas together, and he was just in med school. And I remember he said to me, he goes, don't take the Prozacs, don't take those things. He goes, just go smoke some weed.
Smoke some weed.
And, this guy is now one of the best brain surgeons, neurosurgeons in the entire Midwest.
Yeah, and he was spot on about it.
And this was 20 years ago.
Yeah, I was prescribed meds 15 years ago. Same thing, Prozac, like all these things for what?
They're
I was
horrible.
busy.
I would rather be crazy than have the side effects of Prozac. You know what Prozac's side effect on me is? And if you've never taken it, you probably won't understand this. But to me, this is the side effect that I have to live with if I want to be calm and not rambling in my brain. My bones inside my skin feel like they are growing out of my skin.
That's not fun.
For instance, my fingers, the bones inside feel like they are trying to stretch a little bit. My bones feel too big for my skin. That is the best way that I've described it to every doctor who have ever said, I can't. One of the side effects is my bones feel too big for my skin.
Did they tell you to take more? You just need to take more. That's all. Up your dose.
No, then dial the dose back.
Yeah, really?
Obviously,
dial it back.
we got to dial it back. Well, then it's doing nothing. And I'm just basically taking a placebo. But no, imagine if you can't imagine that, I don't know how better to describe it, but that is an awful way to live.
Not good.
I was constantly, you can't see me, and I know we're not on video, but I was constantly going like this.
Yeah. Just stretching.
Like, God, my bones feel compacted. It was awful.
Wait a second, you do realize they can see.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, they can?
Yeah.
So I was going like this. Yeah. I was constantly going like, what's wrong? I'm like, nothing. It's my hands, my arms, my shoulders. It was awful. So
Sounds like withdrawals.
Pharmaceuticals, most of these pharmaceuticals are ridiculous. Yeah. Even the people who were probably making them were probably like, boy, you know what would do all this stuff? Weed. Too bad we can't just give that.
Yeah, no. But we have the synthetic weed that's really horrible for you.
Side effects, diarrhea.
I love watching all these medical commercials. If you got a headache, take this, side effects, or your brain will fall out your ears. You'll shit your stomach out. But you know what? You won't have a headache anymore.
No, they show these beautiful, images of people frolicking in fields with their loved ones and playing with puppies and balloons and all that kind of stuff. And then the text on the bottom of the screen is some of the most horrid stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I got prescribed something, and in it said side effects. If these, occur, call your physician. And the last one was death. Yeah. I'm like, okay, how am I going to call my doctor?
How the hell am I going to...
I'm dead. It didn't work. Let's try something else.
How am I going to enjoy an afternoon in the middle of a field flying flying a kite when I've got chronic diarrhea.
You can't do it.
I can't enjoy that.
Nope.
Okay, speaking of enjoying things, and let's make a note. Let's try and talk to House Rep Elliott Naistat at some point about this bill, because I'd like to find out more. And honestly, I'd like to challenge him a little. I think it's a really weak bill.
Right. Well, I think just even updating it, though, they're scared to do anything, cause any more waves. They think, okay, if we can get this little tiny piece in right now, let's do it. And then from there, we'll go.
Bigger.
I'm tired of living in fear.
I know, me too.
Look, the economic boon to places that really need a help, like, well, California, for one, could really use the economic boon that legalized marijuana on a social level would bring.
Absolutely.
I remember in the 1990s. Now, I'm old enough to have been in my 20s back then, and a young adult myself. But I remember the .com boom. And I remember I remember how much better things started to get.
Right.
Really quick, between like 93 and 2000.
It was great. Those were great years.
The Clinton years.
Yeah, they were
good. They were really good years for this country, especially in retrospect. They were good years, regardless of what your political feelings are towards him and blowjobs. It was a.
What? That had nothing to do with him as a president.
Well, it had a lot to do. Yeah, it had a lot to do with his policies.
Yeah, blowjobs.
Well, no, his policies. Oh yeah, the blowjob had nothing to do.
Okay, yeah.
But his policies
yes.
certainly did encourage the growth of .coms and all of that, which eventually crashed because it was a bubble.
Well, yeah.
But my point is, what kind of effect to the economy overall would a nationwide legalization of marijuana bring? Think of the industry. We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar a year industry that would just sprout out overnight.
Just like that. Already here. It's available.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's things that are already available for us.
We did, I think it was on our first show, or maybe it was when we were all just sitting around talking, but I talked about the Colorado Board of Tourism, who believes something like, I don't have the number. I don't want to say the number now because I could be wrong. But it was like $1 billion a year this year in Colorado tourism, simply because of, and again, don't quote me on that number.
Right.
But it's some ridiculous number that would make you go, whoa!
Yeah.
In tourism alone, simply because Colorado has passed this law.
Legal.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And Jansen, we were just talking about this the other day. The Cannabis Cup, long held in Amsterdam for the first time, is moving to Denver.
Yeah, we're going. We're planning on all going.
The
Big
Super
trip.
Bowl of weed. Do you know what the Super Bowl of weed brings to your local economy?
Oh yeah.
Lots of good weed.
Well, yeah, hard to get a
Aside
hotel
from
room.
that, yeah.
You ain't going to get a hotel room because everybody's coming in from all over the place to take part in this
And it's true.
cannabis club.
A lot of people participate.
I think the situation in Colorado, when they first, for medicinal, they legalized it for medicinal, and then they saw the amount of revenue, they went, holy shit, if everybody could, wow. And then now they're reaping the benefits of the personal use legalization.
Mm-hmm.
It's $1 billion cash crop, and Colorado has realized it.
Yeah.
And everybody else is going to follow suit.
Colorado, they and I don't know much about the growing aspects of this. I've always been lucky enough to live close to a funky apartment complex where there were plenty of dealers.
Yay, Dallas. Yeah.
Is Colorado good terrain for growing? I would think that it would, right? Like up in the mountains, are they known for
growing? So.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
I don't know either. I think most is hydroponic kind of, that's how most people do it.
Yeah,
now.
that's
Indoors.
true.
Yeah.
There's not much of that Reggie shit going around.
Yeah.
That's true.
Seta weed.
All right. Well, this weekend you went down and you were hanging with some of the big ballers in the world of
that's right.
legalization and all that. You were at the High Times party at South by Southwest?
Yeah, High Times went in yesterday, got there for the event. It went on until about 6 p.m. last night. They had some people there, a band actually that comes on our show a lot, the FNAs, were out there up for an award, and they won an activism award for being one of the most active cannabis, pro-cannabis bands in Texas, U.S., which is really cool.
This was Sunday?
Was that yesterday?
I got a call from my 3.5-year-old yesterday afternoon. He wanted to let me know that he had just attended the Flaming Lips show.
Oh, really? Nice. Well, there you go. Yeah. Right. And it was it was a really cool event. There were a lot of people out there. They had people that were competing in the Cannabis Cup. First and second place winners of the Cowboy Cannabis Cup were there yesterday, and I got to try a little bit of that, but it was actually really cool. You get to see all the different normal chapters. The Texas Normal was out there, DFW, Austin, San Antonio, just all over, Texas nationwide, all there to support legalization and to help pass that bill. And then I got to see somebody pretty fucking cool, I have to say. George Clinton walked right up to our booth after the F&As performed. I start talking to him. I talked to him a little bit, like he's walking, back and forth. Didn't really like click in until he's there and he's talking to me. I'm like, oh my God, do you realize you're George Clinton right now? Saw the F&As perform, and he said the F&As made his day.
Oh, that's cool.
That was really cool. They're one of our local bands here, and immediately talked to them, interviewed with them afterwards. And
let me ask you this about George Clinton. All right, legendary pioneer of the funk genre.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
P-Funk, Parliament, Funkadelic, Space Leader from... what was it? Space Leader Zero or something?
Yep.
What was his nickname at some point?
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know, something crazy.
Smoked a lot.
Let me ask you this about George Clinton. I've often wondered this. What did he smell like? Just imagine there's a smell there, a unique smell all to George Clinton. And I'm not making it. I'm not saying this pejoratively. I'm not saying that it's a bad smell. I just imagine that there is a unique smell to a George Clinton when he stands next to you.
It smells like green money. Like the kind you can smoke. I don't know. Yeah, he smelled great. I'm glad you brought that up. I can still smell it. Yeah, it's
flowery.
A little flowery, a
smoky.
little spicy. Yeah, he smelled really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't smell like a bar whore at 2 a.m.
No.
I mean, he smells. There's like he's got a presence.
Me, on the other hand,
he's big.
Yeah.
And, I just imagine. Oh, and also the hair. The hair has got to smell. There's got to be some product in there.
He was wearing a nice hat. Nice shirt.
Yeah, his hair looked normal. I saw a picture.
Did you?
It's not like the long.
It's not all dreaded out.
No.
Well, then it looked abnormal because dreaded out is normal for George Clinton.
Yeah, it was actually hard for me to realize who he was. Like, it took me a minute just talking to him, and then that's when I realized it and just shut up.
Was he cool?
Yeah, he was super, absolutely cool. Even talked to the F&As right after the show and says there might be some good things coming for F&As via George Clinton.
What else was going on down there at the High Times party?
Oh, there were a lot of different bands there. I don't know if you know Spoon-Fed Tribe. They were there. They were out there.
Nobody makes an entrance like Spoon-Fed Tribe.
Yeah. Pretty cool stuff. Lots of just different bands. I mean, High Times obviously out there giving out several awards. Super Size Me, the comedian Doug. Oh, I always forget his name.
Doug Benson.
Yeah, Doug
did you
Benson.
Meet my old friend Doug Benson?
I didn't get a chance to meet him. He came off stage and there was just like a kind of swarm type deal.
Oh, was he wearing jeans, a t-shirt, and a flannel jacket?
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. But one of our normal girls who doesn't smoke pot, by the way, does not ever. He hands her a joint and she smokes it.
Really?
She's like, "What am I gonna do? Doug Benson's handing me a joint. Like, I've got to smoke this." So she did. She got a little high for the first time.
Did he make a sequel to Super High Me? Or are they working on a sequel?
I heard they were working on it.
I heard there's something he's doing. So that's a great. Chaz, have you seen that?
Yeah, I actually went to a premiere party with Barry Cooper when that came out.
Yeah,
I loved it.
That's a pretty. Not only is it a really interesting piece of documentary filmmaking and entertaining, but it's real insurgent. I mean, there's more to it than just look at the stoner guy. I mean, there's a message there. There's like a whole. If you haven't seen Super High Me, and basically
love that movie.
It's a parody of the supersize mentality that we have here in America, but it's about a guy who. He just basically smokes weed for a month.
And then stops. Did he stop? Yeah, he stopped.
And he doesn't smoke weed for a month.
Yeah.
And then it's like, basically,
did you think he got funnier after, like, not smoking weed? Or did you think he was funnier? Because I felt like he got funnier. I don't know what that was.
I think I'm hilarious on weed.
Yeah,
but that's the problem. Yeah. Most people do.
Yeah.
I mean, I've written entire comedy routines.
Oh, yeah, me too. I've never used them.
And I've gone back and looked at them when I wasn't stoned. I'd be like, what the fuck was I talking about?
Yeah.
This makes no sense.
The moon? What? Why are we on the moon?
Why do I keep saying bunny rabbit as a punchline?
Bunny rabbit.
So that was V. That was her little update. She went down to South by Southwest over the weekend and attended the High Times party. We're going to take another break here on the Texas Legalization Report. When we come back, we're going to talk to one of our guests that we have teed up for you today. So be tuned in for that. We'll take a quick break. Back with more Texas Legalization Report on DeepElmOnAir.com.
You really had me fooled. I should have tried paying more attention to the hazard signs. They were clues to the riddle of our separation. Warning, we are under construction. In 8 months there'll be self-destruction. You left the want you to look back on this. Our chapter's over and I've bent the pages over and over and over and over again. And now they're one thing, like you're well. For 2/3 of the year I bit my lip till it was bloody and I have nothing to show for it. To show for it. I let you have my music and you gave me this. And I'm so bitter. But chalk it up to youth and inexperience. It's hard to last if you don't take it serious. Love is a job, it's a work in
They don't ever admit that. But
never
in
just
15 years, I've never, ever.
Never want you to look back on this. Our chapter's over and I've bent the pages over and over and over and over again. And now they're one thing, like you're welcome. I never want you to look back on this. Our chapter's over and I've bent the pages over and 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 over again. Now they're one thing, like you're welcome.
It's Deep Ellum on air, serving the DFW Metroplex. Only the best in underground and local music.
Cause me and music are one, you know, music is like my best friend.
Deep Ellum on air.
It's the Texas Legalization Report for Monday, March the 18th, 2013. I'm Pugs Moran alongside V from Hungover with V, heard every Sunday here on Deep Ellum on Air. Chief Chaz, former Texas law enforcement, now noted North Texas legalization activist, and of course, as always, Jedi Jansen here, manning the controls at Deep Ellum on Air. Okay, before we move into this, we do have breaking news. The latest on the Lindsay Lohan story. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
All right. So we covered in the first segment the craziness surrounding getting Lindsay to court today. And you know, she was 48 minutes late and just a mess. Let's see here. Here's what it says. Breaking. Lindsay Lohan cops plea deal. She avoids jail. All right? Now here's what she's got. Lindsay Lohan just copped an 11th hour plea deal and will spend 90 days in lockdown rehab. All right, I don't know what lockdown rehab is, but it sounds better.
Oh, she might not be able to get out of that one.
Yeah,
Lockdown.
well, she can't, I don't think. I think
That's
she
it.
has to spend 90 days there.
Whoa.
That's a real rehab.
Damn.
And
Probably
that's-
a state
And again,
facility.
is that effective? Because she's being forced
Locked
into
in.
rehab.
It sounds better. See, I was upset about, again, trying to remain intellectually consistent on my problems with
Right.
the prison system. I don't think Lindsay Lohan needs to go and get locked up in county and live with a gang member who knifed her boyfriend. I don't think that that's really what she needs.
I agree.
However, we also know that rehab doesn't work. So maybe, what is this like the next level of rehab?
Well, it works. It works for people that want it. If you're being court ordered, right, there's a less of a chance of it actually working for you if you're being forced.
After a lot of haggling V in chambers with offers and counteroffers, Lindsay's plea pled to a no contest to the crime of reckless driving and lying to cops. In addition to rehab, Lindsay will perform 30 days of community labor and undergo psychotherapy for 18 months. She will get credit for time already completed with a shrink. There is a mandatory 5 days in jail for reckless driving, but it's going to be folded into the lockdown rehab, so she won't be behind bars even for a day. Lindsay will be able to do her rehab in New York City. Got to stay clean, blah, blah, blah. All right, all of that stuff. So, yeah, we all thought she was going to jail. I thought she was going to jail, but she's apparently not.
I mean, does anybody here think she's got a drug problem?
Yes.
You really think so? Really, though?
Stupid problem.
I don't really think she does. I know girls like her that, party on the weekend, party da-da-da.
I think she's a cokehead.
You think she's a cokehead?
I think that cocaine has become such a regular part of her everyday life.
So she can't do without it.
I think
interesting.
She may be functioning.
Right.
She has done some although she's functioning poorly.
Yeah, not very good.
I mean, I read the list of infractions.
That
she has, incurred over the last couple of years. All right, let's table this discussion. Let's talk to a friend of ours, an East Coast activist. We're trying to reach out here on the Texas Legalization Network, spread those tentacles as far and as wide, as reaching as they will go. This is Don Knotts out in the Pennsylvania area. Hi, Don. How are you?
Hey, everyone. I'm great.
Welcome to the Texas Legalization Report. Now, tell us exactly what you're all getting into out there in the East Coast.
All right. Well, just here in Pennsylvania, we have Senator Dalen Leach has put a bill, Proposition 528, into Pennsylvania. It hasn't been assigned to committee yet or anything, but it's a basic legalization bill like in Colorado and Washington. We have a state store system for our liquor in Pennsylvania. You can only buy liquor at one store, beer at another. Not sure how it is in Texas, but he basically wants to, use this system that's already in place to do, like a dispensary. It would be a state store dispensary, regulated, because they're already trained to, the tax reports and checking IDs, all that,
Well, now, Bill, Don, I'm sorry. It sounds to me like the bill there in Pennsylvania is a little bit further reaching than the one we just discussed here in Texas. We've got one, check this one out, Bill 594, which is simply, with all the movement that we've seen towards full-on legalization for social use, we are still in Texas battling to get a bill heard that would simply allow people who have already been arrested for possession to bring a doctor in and get them off. That's as far as our bills are willing to go. So you guys out there, you seem to be light years ahead of us.
Yeah, but our governor has already said anything with marijuana on it, we're vetoing it, but we basically, you can be vetoed too, Governor Corbett,
Yeah, get him out of there.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, every day prohibitionists are dying and, activists are being born. It's time for reform. It's time to get these laws changed.
Well, let me take the temperature of what you're seeing out there in Pennsylvania. Let's stick with Pennsylvania. Let's compare Pennsylvania to Texas. The reason that we've been doing this show now is because since the Oregon laws and the Colorado laws and the Washington laws, and Oregon soon to come, if you believe what you hear, there've been a lot more open discussions here in formerly ultra-conservative Texas among people willing to at least discuss it. And I think that it's really changed. Just in the last year or so, the narrative, the willingness of people to actually discuss this. People in suits and ties at press conferences willing to actually say marijuana legalization. That we consider to be a great victory here. How is sort of the people on the street in Philly, or Pennsylvania, is there a big groundswell of grassroots support? Because it's crazy to think that a politician, the governor of Pennsylvania, would still have these hard line approaches.
Well, here's my point of view. I am from a rural area in Pennsylvania. I have experienced the scene in Philly. Philly has a great normal organization, great following. They put on a great show this weekend. It was first annual Mid-Atlantic Normal Conference. Plenty of big-name people. Pittsburgh also has a very big normal organization. And Pittsburgh has a very, very strong backing for industrializing hemp. and everything across the board when it comes to cannabis and legalization.
What is the conversation about? Is the conversation about the boon to the economy that it will bring, or is it more about the criminalization aspects?
Right now, the bill, our senator put it to us this way: hey, why try and get a bill as you guys are putting in place, with small steps? Why not let's shoot for the stars? If we get this, everything else will fall into place.
Yeah.
And if not, we're at least getting the word out that, hey, we're out here. Cannabis is a miracle drug. It should never have been, locked up. It should have never been taken out of the hands of patients. This.
What do you recommend? Yeah, I mean, what do you recommend? You're an activist. What do you recommend? I mean, for people at home, I understand to contact my senator and make a phone call and write a letter and do all these wonderful things. But there are a lot of people that don't feel that their voice does count. If it's going to move it anywhere. I mean, obviously, we've seen some stride in the last year. But, I mean, are there things you can recommend for just a regular person at home trying to get, these people to listen?
Oh, yeah. Go read online to NORML.org, National Organization for Reform of Marijuana Laws. That's the hub right there. You can go state by state. They give you your laws. They give you your chapters, lawyer directories, everything. For a reformist, for an activist, that's the place to be.
Someone brought up to me yesterday, one of the Texas NORML members, that, and this is for anybody watching, and if you've got a bill going before the House, and it just like us here, that when a bill gets put forth in front of the committee, any senator now looking at that bill, you are now a constituent of that senator, whether or not they are from your state.
Yeah,
you are
true.
a constituent.
Yep.
So you not only are responsible for contacting your senator, now you're responsible for contacting every person that is looking at that bill that involves your state.
Yes, and also when they're put towards the committee and the vote and they have the hearings and all that, this is all, public. Anybody can go there.
Mm-hmm.
Get out there, make yourself seen, make some signs, anything you can do helps. Donate to NORML, even if you don't want to put your face out there, because that's how, we're having problems with getting, chapters started out here. People don't want to, in fear of retaliation or their job, losing a job or something like that.
Scared.
But anything helps. You can donate to NORML on the website. You can, there's multiple things.
Don, we're talking with Don Knotts. He's an activist from the East Coast, as we broadcast here from Texas. He's there in Pennsylvania, rural Pennsylvania. I keep wanting to say Philly. I don't know why I keep wanting to say that. Now, you talked about the bill that's there sitting in front of the House. They've yet to vote on that. Is that ready to go? Where are we?
It needs to be sent to a committee yet, and that should be happening really any day now.
What are the thoughts on that? What's the legal history of the committee that will be seeing this bill? Is there optimism or pessimism?
I would say there's optimism in the representative level, but it's our governor is what's holding us back, and that's the problem with a lot of states in the Mid-Atlantic region.
Well, I mean, it seems to me, my way of looking at it, more difficult to get a local rep to actually put his name, sponsor, and attach himself to a House bill. That seems more difficult than really trying to just get a ballot initiative on the next. I mean, is there any movement towards that, trying to get this or on the? I mean, that's how they did it in Washington and Colorado. It became a ballot initiative.
Yeah, it was a voter. It was a voter vote that got it in, but It's hard to say really right now. We still got to get it put to a committee. It could just be lost. You never know.
The wheels of progress turn slowly and muddily. Hey, Don Knotts out there in Pennsylvania, will you keep in touch with us? Let's follow this. Follow yours the way it goes. We'll follow ours the way ours goes, and we'll see if we can't patch all these together and live in a free country at some point.
All right, sounds great.
All right, thank you. There he goes, Don Knotts. He's going to be one of our network of activists that we will call upon from time to time here on the Texas Legalization.
He's our
Report.
Atlantic affiliate.
I like that. Was he on Miami Vice? Is that where Don Knotts were?
Don Knotts.
Is that his real name?
Was that it? No, there's no way.
Or is he going under a nom de plume?
No,
I think it's his real name.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, legendary comedic actor Don Knotts.
Was he a comedic actor?
Oh God, he was Barney Fife. From
Oh,
that
okay.
show.
I'm thinking of somebody else.
He was Flubber.
Yeah.
you know, Don Knotts, the Apple Dumpling Gang.
I must be thinking of I'm thinking of the guy from Miami Vice.
He's a comic.
Oh,
Don Johnson.
There you go.
Not funny.
All right, not funny. I was like, that guy's not funny at all.
Not funny.
Yeah.
Don Knotts is funny. Don
Funny
Johnson,
wardrobe.
not so much. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. It's the Texas Legalization Report for Monday, March the 18th, 2013. I'm Pugs Moran. I'm here with V. I'm also with Chaz, Chief Chaz. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back with more on DeepElemOnAir.com.
It just don't come that easy. They're paying no mind, they don't pay us at all. And listen up, if you'd like to get something from this, we'll give you the truth, we'll give you nothing at all. I'm here because I have no place to go. There's no choice for me. I've got no say at all. We'll all be here when it's said and done. No, we won't turn and run. No, we won't run at all. Right here, and we're still right here, and we're still right here, and we're still right here. With many miles to go on this road all alone, fed by our blood, sweat, and tears, we will never go home. This is all that we know. It's the reason we're still right here, and 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 we're still right here.
Hungover with V.
Alcohol loosens your tongue.
Sundays 11 to 1.
Delicious alcohol can cause viasalgia, otherwise known as a hangover.
Deep Ellum on air.
It's the Texas Legalization. I'm just trying to get my timing down with him, with Jansen. Sometimes I
doing
start
great.
to talk and the mic isn't on yet. Sometimes the mic's on and I'm not talking. Broadcasting 101.
Yeah.
All in good time, my friend.
Yeah. Also, you're not supposed to cough, but I just did. I don't have a cough button because we're podcasting. Live here at Deep Ellum on Air. Well, we're live now. Probably not when you're listening because this is a podcast. We're here with V from Hungover with V, heard every Sunday morning here on Deep Ellum on Air. Hi, V.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, man, We also got Chief Chaz here, law enforcement, former Texas law enforcement, and noted North Texas activist for the legalization cause. And Jedi Jansen, as always. We were just, we're wrapping up the show here, this edition of the Texas Legalization Report for Monday, March 18th, 2013. And we were talking about the Lindsay Lohan case earlier, and we were just in the break talking about it. And we were discussing, she's actually, how old is she? Isn't she 30? Isn't she? How old is she? Lindsay Lohan is no longer 15. Yeah. And she hasn't been for a long time.
I feel like she's a few years younger than I am. I'm 34.
She's still in her 20s.
Yeah, maybe 28, 27.
Really? Because all those Hiltons and Kardashians, they're all 30 now.
Yeah, they're all in their 30s now. Yeah.
Britney Spears is 30.
Yeah.
Let's see. She was born in 86, so
oh, wow.
She would be
24, 27, 28. 27, 28.
Yeah.
I love our math
She's
skills,
26.
by the way.
She's 26.
I had to use
my math question.
That shut us down.
Oh, yeah, not me. What do you mean? I was right there with it. I was using my pizza skill. I delivered pizzas.
So you can do the count back.
You have to be able to do count back really quick. You tell me you're born in 86, and I'm telling you you're 27 years old.
Yeah, that's
good.
Like you got it. Boom.
Yeah. All right. Your pizza is here. Let's try this.
Okay.
I'll show you. Your pizza is $14.45.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I gave you a 20.
Oh, and you gave me a 20?
That's right.
$5.55.
What?
Oh, shit.
That's pizza math.
People can't do that anymore.
I'd be standing there going,
I can't do math.
Try it again. Give me throw a price out.
$17.95.
Okay.
And they gave you a 50.
Oh, they gave me a 50? Oh, well, then you get $30.05.
What?
I guess.
Oh, no, wait. You said $17.95? Yeah. I'm sorry. You get $32.05.
I believe him. Done. Yeah.
Hey, I believe the 30.
Yeah.
Well,
I was like, good job.
I thought you said $19.95 from 50. That would be $30.05, but it was 17, so that's $32.05. I know. Yeah, they say that delivering pizza, that's a nowhere job, but I still retain these math skills from 20 years ago.
You know what? Yeah, it serves you more than algebra does. My kids are taking algebra. I'm like, when will you ever use that?
Never.
Ever.
I never made it past the fundamentals of math, and when I went to the police academy, we had to do algebra for accident reconstruction. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Really?
Oh, really? So you had to actually know algebra for something.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, I did my math stuff. I was in AP courses and stuff, but I was really good in English and all that other stuff. So I was sort of allowed to skirt through a lot of the math and stuff. I mean, I remember being a sophomore when I should have been taking like Algebra 2, which is where you should be as a sophomore. And I was in refresher algebra.
Oh, really?
Teach me the basics again.
Yeah.
And don't call me stupid because I got to go to my AP history class.
Yeah.
Idiot. We're learning about Russian dynasties. I mean, that's what I was into. So math, I never used math. I was never good at math, and I really don't feel like
I was sort of good at it, but I've never used it since. Until now. I figured now this is when I need it. Oh, yeah.
You do see, I don't feel like I lack anything not knowing algebra, or trigonometry.
Well, I do when it comes to helping my kids with their homework. I cannot help them. They'll fail if I help them, so I don't do that anymore.
See, I would just leave my kid down my course.
Yeah, YouTube. That's what YouTube videos. They have videos on all of that. Maths and polynomials? No. When have you done a polynomial?
I don't even know what that is.
I just learned.
Is that someone who was born in the Hawaiian Islands?
I think so, yeah. When was the last time you did one of those?
Polynomian girl? I've never done a polynomian
Never.
Girl. All right. But the question was, Lindsay Lohan, she's young. She's got all this money. I mean, it's idle hands. What do you want? She's got nothing to do. So she gets buzzed and she gets into trouble. Is that an excuse? I mean, there are plenty. We always say, oh, well, would you let your child be a child star? Yeah, damn right I would. Because I'm a good parent.
Yeah.
And you know what? My kid would grow up to be Jodie Foster. And for every Lindsay Lohan, there's a Jodie Foster.
That's right.
Who did it just fine. For every Macaulay Culkin, who seems to have turned his life around, but he was a train wreck as a kid. Right. For every one of him, there's a Ron Howard.
That's true. Yeah.
You can make it by being a child star. You have to have good parents.
And you do have to get past that rough patch. I mean, there is early 20s, and if you're a childhood star, 10 years old, starting out, 15, 16, 17.
The problem is that Lindsay Lohan, it's more than just, look, you can be a rich, drunk celebrity and still be loved. I mean, you can.
Look at Whitney.
Well,
Winnie was loved. Come on, she was loved. And she smoked
loved.
crack.
There's fun, I mean, Colin Farrell for a bunch of years was just a drunken lout.
Yeah.
And everybody loved Colin Farrell.
True.
He was, Colin Farrell got drunk and in a shoving match at a bar again last night. Oh, that Colin Farrell.
Mel Gibson until he started speaking up.
Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe was always throwing phones at bellhops.
Somebody.
I mean, I don't know. But at any rate, Lindsay Lohan's problem, 100%, as we wrap up this edition of Texas Legalization, to me, is that her parents are horseshit. They're absolutely horseshit individuals.
I agree.
Her father is a scumbag of the highest order, and I'm talking about 1990s Michael Lohan. I'm not talking about the guy we've known for the last. I'm talking about the guy who served time for violating the SEC, who was a blowhead, who was supposedly involved in all kinds of trafficking on the East Coast. This is long before. Her dad is a scumbag, and her mom is a woman who thought it was cool to marry a scumbag. Enough said.
Done.
You
Done.
You can't win. I mean,
Can't
anyone
argue
that
that
would
point.
reproduce a child with Michael Lohan is a scumbag themselves.
Yep.
I can do that math.
Yeah.
See, I didn't
that's
realize
easy math.
he was somewhat famous.
Michael Lohan?
Yeah.
Well, he's famous for being the deadbeat loser father of Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, but that's it though.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah, he's not famous.
okay.
He was
He
a
played off her.
Was he an attorney?
celebrity
No, he was a
status.
Wall Street guy.
Oh.
He was one of these shady Wall Street guys that took a bunch of money from investors and then spent it on. He went to jail.
He went to jail.
Yeah, he was.
Fraud.
He's a scumbag, total scumbag. And this is his daughter. And I'm absolutely certain that she grew up with no boundaries. Mom. I bet. Here's the thing. By the way, I had this idea. Tell me if you guys like this.
Okay.
Have you seen Bad Teacher?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I recently saw that. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
But I would like to see Cameron Diaz, and this is a franchise for Cameron Diaz, the Bad franchise.
Oh, yeah.
She's already played the Bad Teacher. I would love to see Cameron Diaz in a movie called Cool Mom.
Oh.
Where she's, it's a play on the whole bad, because, everybody's got a cool, his mom's cool, man. We get to smoke pot in their house. Oh, his mom's cool. We have parties and she buys us alcohol. That cool mom is a fuck up. That cool mom, Cameron Diaz could play the cool mom in a really funny movie, I think.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to get working on that script.
Get on it, yeah.
But that's what Dina Lohan was. She was that cool mom.
That let it go too far.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You can be cool mom and still have boundaries. Yeah, I'm cool mom, but there are certain things you're not going to do around me.
Okay, you're cool
I'm still
mom.
Yeah.
Would you let your 15-year-olds have a kegger in your backyard?
No.
No?
No. But
Okay.
I'd have a kegger.
Lindsay Lohan had a kegger for her Sweet 16.
There's no
and
way.
all of her little friends came, and the mom sent out really fancy embroidered invitations, and all the kids.
No.
Wow.
Cool
I've let
mom.
I've let
Cool
my
mom.
15-year-old sip a little champagne on New Year's.
Oh,
That's as cool
Okay,
as it.
yeah.
Take a sip.
Right.
He thinks he's fancy, but
when I'm fixing up, I let my 3-year-old tie me off. But that's as far as it goes.
that's all. It's learning nuts.
No, look, I already know. My kid is going to hate me because I'm going to be a hard ass. I have to be. I just feel like if the kid doesn't have boundaries, he's going to turn out to be a jerk.
Yeah, I didn't have boundaries, so
Yep.
hello.
No, I went to military school.
Yeah,
I didn't have boundaries.
I
'cause
got pregnant.
I was raised by a single mom, and I didn't have boundaries. And then they sent me to military school, and I got boundaries.
So you
real
went from
quick.
0 to
I went to military school
to prison at
and I think
13.
it made me worse.
I think so too. I feel like it would have made me worse.
I think it made me
you
worse.
come out ready to just wild out.
Maybe because you didn't get to experience the normal
Just
teenage
normal.
years or
Just
something
made me
like
bitter.
that.
Scared the shit out of me. Fixed me right up. I only had to go for a year. I
Really?
got really good after 1 year.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
I'm watching.
Seventh grade. Sent me away in 7th grade.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I came back in 8th grade. I became class president in 8th grade.
Look at
of my
you.
regular
Damn.
school. Yeah.
A comeback story.
It cleaned me up good. I was scared to death.
Yeah.
It sucked. 13 years old, I basically lived the life of someone who went away to college at 13.
Yeah.
I hated it. I lived in a dorm with people I didn't know.
Missing mama.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
beneficial. Though.
Way missing mom. And just completely devastated that mom would send me away.
Why would she do that?
Oh, look, I got a lot of mileage out of that.
Yeah.
I'm still getting mileage out of that.
That's
I make her
good.
feel guilty to this
Oh,
day.
really? Oh, that's good. Yeah, remember,
my
Mom?
God.
Yeah.
You gave me away. Only to take me back.
She's like, yeah, remember, I took you back. I didn't have to do that either, but I did.
See, mine's complete opposite. My mom was like, I tried to send you to military school. Like, she's
She's like, I tried. Oh, man.
Oh, I was miserable at midnight.
Yeah, my kid the other day, he's like, my 15-year-old, he's like, would you still, take care of me if I wasn't your son? No.
What are you nuts?
No. Like,
Why? What do you
why? Yeah. Do you know something? Yeah. Is there something you're trying to tell me here?
Are you doing work around the house more
like
than you
what?
are now?
No.
How old is he?
15. Yeah.
No.
He's not doing no work. Yeah. He's video games right here. Yeah.
Clean your room, clean the backyard, do something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's the problem with Lindsay Lohan. I don't think she's ever been told no.
Yeah. Well, it's unlike Britney. Britney kind of went off the deep end, but she did have sort of a normal upbringing.
But Britney got it back. Why is Britney back? Why is Britney
because
not been
of
in
her
headlines?
parents?
Because her father,
her father
went to the court and said, "Look, I know she's a grown woman, and we let her come out to Hollywood, but she's squandering millions." And the court said, "Okay, you missed.
Dad is good.
Daddy Spears, you are in charge of everything that she does, and you're held responsible." And she was good. She cleaned up. Britney Spears is fine now.
Yeah.
She went through the rough patch and she came through it. So I mean, and that's because she had a parent who loved her.
That's true. It makes a big difference.
And a good PR person.
Yeah, well, Lindsay's got good PR too. It doesn't seem to be working out.
Yes.
I feel so sorry for those guys. Oh, to have that job.
She has gone through. There was a story. God, it's a while ago. Again, don't quote me on this numbers, but it's like 7 of the top 10 PR agencies in the world she has fired. She has had them, and then she's fired them, and then gone back to them. And
I'd hate to be there. I mean, I've done security for a few celebrities. I would hate to have to
what can
deal
you
with
do?
her. Oh my God.
You know, hear something funny. Somebody that we should probably talk about this is my former partner Kelly had that very job of keeping somebody out of trouble, and she did it. She did it like a king.
Really?
For 5 years. And it was Danny Bonaducci.
Oh,
shit.
Kelly,
no.
Kelly was in
She's
charge.
so busy.
Our radio station brought Danny Bonaducci in to be the overnight talk show host. And they pulled Kelly and they said, Kelly, because she was one of the top producers, they said, we're going to put you on his show and you're going to be more than a producer. You're going to be his everything.
Wow.
And she was his everything. If he was at a bar appearance and somebody walked up to him that looked like a drug dealer, Kelly was boom standing right there in between the two of them, telling the guy to go away. She was a bitch.
She had her hands full.
Totally. I mean, I was in situations with Danny when the boys, the other guys at the station, would all get together and be like, "Oh, let's go do this. Let's go do this."
And
then
Kelly.
But then Danny would be like, "All right, be cool when Kelly comes around. Don't tell her where we're going." He was constantly trying to ditch her and lose her, and she was like stuck. So I mean, that's a tough job.
That's a tough
when
job.
you've got a celebrity who has just got no governor,
Wow.
wants to do everything.
He deserves a trophy for that one. Danny Bonaducci, are you kidding me?
After doing it for 5 years, she was repaid. The station gave her her own show.
Oh, really? Well, there you go. Way to go.
And she filled it with stories about Danny Bonaducci.
Yeah, she still has like 10 more years of content. Yeah, very
All right,
cool.
that's going to do it. V, a way for people to reach out, contact you, and listen to you?
Yeah, Hungover with V at deepelemonair.com, and I do my show Sundays here, 11 to 1. You can watch them anytime.
I still want to come sit on that.
You can come whenever you want. Next Sunday, I'll be here.
Chief Chaz, how about you? You got anything, or you just want to be a part of the Texas Legalization Report?
I'm good, man. I'm
You're good? All right. Jedi, thank you very much
Thank you.
for Chaz, Jedi, and V. I'm Pugs Moran. We'll be back with another Texas Legalization report installment when time permits. DeepElemOnAir.com.
Deep Ellum on air. Only the best in local music.
Do it live!
From DFW and beyond. Deep Ellum.